Refuse to lose. I'm built to win. Apply myself. I filled it in. No time for the doubt. They counted me out. I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss. I'm paying the cost. I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse. Mine, it can't be diffused. If you ain't thinking the same, then we playing by different rules. You can't see the vision, we living at different views. Until we complete the mission, keep getting up, never snooze. I walked a mile in my shoes, had the mind of a fool, chasing diamonds and jewels. Trust me, I was confused. Started minding my business and used my mind as a tool. Ended up finding my purpose and found the time to get to it. They told me I couldn't do it, they told me I couldn't make it. They sold it, could never break it. That's sadly mistaken. I need a piece of the pie, I want it so bad I can taste it. They told me like Toby, keep on running toes, they gon' take a few to lose. Built to win, apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I pay for the cost, I'm winning to win. Yeah. Refuse to lose, I'm built to win. Apply myself, I filled it in. No time for the doubt, they counted me out, I'm getting it in. Yeah. No time for no loss, I'm paying the cost, I'm in it to win. Yeah. Refuse.
Welcome back to CTC. I'm your gracious host, Carl, and I'm back for another episode. And today, we will be talking about the basketball games we got going on for today, February 21st, 2026. We got 8 games to discuss, some big matchups. We got, 2 top 5 matchups in Duke versus Michigan here in DC. And we have Arizona at Houston later on to talk about as well. So 2 top 5 matchups. That is extraordinary for Saturday, I might say. And so then we also got top 25 matchup, Iowa State, BYU. And then we just got some regular games. We got a game in the Big East that holds some weight in the Big East. I love Big East basketball, so can't wait to talk about that. I will say I do not have a mid-major game to discuss today, unfortunately. No mid-major game. But I will say shout out to Liberty for winning a part of the Conference USA title. And they have the chance today to win the Conference USA championship outright today. I forgot who they play. I want to say they play Western Kentucky today. They have a 5-game lead on Sam Houston. So if they win today with 4 games left on their schedule, they do play Sam Houston as their last game, but they can clinch the Conference USA championship today. Now, that doesn't mean that they're an automatic qualifier for the tournament. That is a nice accomplishment, however, but it's all about the Conference USA tournament. So Liberty has a chance to make back-to-back tournament appearances. They made the tournament last year with Kaden Mahaney and Talon Peter last season. But without further ado, let's get into these games I got for y'all today. Like I said, I have 8 games, and we're going to start with the University of Miami taking on the University of Virginia. The Hurricanes versus the Cavaliers. This game is for second place in the ACC. Miami is currently a game behind them with 3 losses in ACC play. Shout out to Ryan Odom turning around University of Virginia. Virginia has 2. Miami has 3. So Virginia with a win would solidify its second place spot behind Duke. Miami with a win, I believe, would jump Virginia since they both had 3 losses in the column. So this is a big game in ACC play. And we're going to start with the University of Miami. And they're led by Malik Renal, averaging 19.7 points per game, 6.6 rebounds. Oh, Miami, by the way, 7.5-point dogs on the road. This game is 2 o'clock on ESPN2. Virginia is also ranked 14th in the country. But like I said, Miami is led by Malik Renal. Shout out to Jessica Butler. Appreciate you from stopping by. Hopefully you like the stream. And if you like what you're listening to, if you're not subscribed, hopefully you subscribe. But also led by Trey Donaldson, who Trey Donaldson himself last game against Virginia Tech outscored Virginia Tech late in the ball game to help win that game by 1 point against Virginia Tech. That was a really good game. But Trey Donaldson, he's huge. He's averaging 16.4 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 5.9 assists, and 1.3 steals. True Washington, averaging 11.5 points per game, 4 rebounds per game, and 1.7 steals per game. Now, that X factor to me, I'm going with Shelton Henderson again. Why? Because he adds so much in scoring. And they're going against a UVA team who can score the lights out the ball as well. So he's going to be big to help Miami score the rock. I mean, if you could tell, just last week against Ohio State, when they played Ohio State Saturday, that is Virginia, they had to put up a ton of points against Ohio State because, first of all, Bruce Thornton was going crazy in the absence of John Mobley. But yeah, they had to put up a ton of points to escape that game. So I think Miami's going to have to put up a ton of points, especially with Virginia being at home, to escape, or if they hope to come out with a win here. Now, Virginia, they're led by Theus de Ritter, who's averaging 15.9 points per game and 6.5 rebounds per game. They're also led by Malik Thomas, averaging 12.4 points per game and 4.1 rebounds, and Sam Lewis, averaging 10.5 points per game and 3.7 rebounds per game. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Johan Grunlow, with his down low presence as a big man, the freshman big, and his rebounding ability. He's averaging 5.7 rebounds per game and 2.1 blocks. He will be dealing with Malik Renaud and Ernest Udo of the Hurricanes. So I feel like his presence as a 7-footer in terms of shot blocking, shot changing, is going to be huge. He's also going to be dealing with Trey Donaldson driving the lane. So I think he'll be huge. But ultimately, and while Miami is currently on a win streak, I am rolling with Virginia to win this game. Virginia is just a tough out, especially at home. And like I said, they scored a ton of points. And that was Miami's issue. They was giving up a ton of points against, well, I won't say a ton of points against Virginia Tech, but they were giving up points to Virginia Tech. And honestly, in their last couple of ball games, they gave up a lot of points. They were just able to score more. But against Virginia on the road, that might be a tough environment to go into and win. So I'm going to take the Cavaliers of Virginia to win this ball game. Next, we have Tennessee at Purdue. Also, for my fault, before we move on, for Virginia, Devin Tillis is questionable with an injury he suffered against Georgia Tech last week. So that is something to look out for, the transfer from UC Irvine. But we'll move on to Tennessee at Vandy. Tennessee and Vandy both have some injuries. Tennessee, J.P. Estrella, who missed the Oklahoma game, he's day-to-day with foot soreness. Tyler Tanner played the Mizzou game sick, and he still had 27 points, so shout out to him. And Duke Miles makes his return from minor knee surgery against the Volunteers today. He's been gone since January 24th, I believe. So that is big news for the Vanderbilt Commodores, who's 19th in the country, coming off a 1-point loss to Mizzou. Tennessee is coming off a blowout win against Oklahoma. Vandy is 3.5-point favorites at home in this matchup. This game is 2:00 on ESPN. Now, Tennessee is led by Jacoby Gillespie, averaging 18.1 points per game, 5.5 assists, and 1.8 steals. Nate Aments, averaging 18.2 points per game, 6.4 rebounds, and 1 steal. Felix Okpara, averaging 6.9 points per game, 5.8 rebounds, and 1.4 blocks per game. Now, the X factor with Noah Estrella, I won't say Noah Estrella, with possibly Noah Estrella, I put Bishop Boswell. He's going to have to step up in scoring because Vanderbilt, they score a bunch of points, especially at home. So Bishop Boswell at the guard position is going to have to put up some points in this ball game, which he kind of hasn't these last couple games, but he has the ability to do so. Vandy, they're led by, as mentioned, Tyler Tanner, who is questionable/probable with the illness. It says undisclosed, but I think it's because of that illness. Tyler Tanner's averaging 18.6 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 2.5 steals. Tyler Nickel averaging 14.7 points per game. And now Duke Miles, again, should be back in the lineup, who's averaging 16.6 points per game, 4.3 assists, and 2.8 steals per game. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Dwight McLaughlin, because he got to face those, he got to help deal with those bigs, Felix Okpara, Jalen Carey, and possibly J.P. Estrella, again, who is day-to-day with the foot soreness. But he got his work cut out in trying to keep them bigs off the glass. Maybe Okpara from scoring around the rim, dunking the ball, things like that. But ultimately, I went with Vandy to win this ball game because, again, Vandy at home is just a tough task. They put up a ton of points. They play good defense. They get up and down the floor. So it's going to be a running gun type day, in my opinion, for Vanderbilt. And while Tennessee, they could play that style of ball, Tennessee on the road is kind of questionable. They blew the lead to Kentucky, which they did do at home. Georgia game was really close. I want to say the Auburn game was close as well. I'm not sure on that one, but I do think Tennessee on the road is a little different, and Vandy at home is really good. So give me Vandy to win this ball game at home, and we move on to our first top 5 matchup of the day. in Arizona, who is fourth in the country. And they did win their game against a BYU by 7, taking on Houston, who is second in the country, who I still think will be top 5 with that loss to Iowa State on Monday night. It was a really good game. Hilton Magic just did what it do. But I don't think that's bad enough to drop them out the top 5. This game is 3 o'clock on ABC. So in the middle of the first 2 games that I mentioned. But that's why YouTube TV got the multi-view. But this game is 3 o'clock on ABC. Houston is 5.5-point home favorites. Again, Arizona is without Koa Pete, which is big for the Wildcats. And we want to start with the Wildcats. Now, they're led by Braden Burries, averaging 15.5 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, and 1.7 steals. Jaden Bradley, averaging 13.3 points per game, 3.5 rebounds, 4.7 assists, and 1.7 steals. And Masiunas Krevas, averaging 10.8 points per game, 8.7 rebounds, and 1.9 blocks per game. Now, the X factor for Arizona, to me, again, is going to be Toby Owaka being inserted into the starting lineup because of the absence of Koa Pete. His scoring ability, which has improved, is going to be key. But mainly, he's an X factor for his rebounding and having to deal with Kristanak Jr., especially on the offensive boards. I know everybody's seen that clip floating around at starting the second half of Houston, Iowa State, when Kristanak Jr. got like 3 straight offensive boards. And JoJo Tugler, keeping them off the offensive glass. So that's what he's going to have his hands tied with doing. Now, Houston, they're led by Kingston Flemings, who's averaging 16.6 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 5.3 assists, and 1.7 steals. Emmanuel Sharp, who got in some foul trouble late, and that's why I felt like Houston lost, averaging 16.5 points per game, 1.2 steals, and Milos Uzan averaging 11.2 points per game, 4.1 assists, and 1 steal per game. Now, the X factor to me, it's going to be JoJo Tugler. With his rebounding and shot blocking, he's averaging 5.4 rebounds per game and 1.5 blocks. He's going to be big because Houston is not necessarily deep at the big man position, and Arizona got some bigs to deal with. So I think he's going to be the X factor in this one. But I'm going to roll with Houston. Houston at home. Daggone, I don't want to say daggone. Now I'm going to stop myself from what I'm going to say. But they're tough to beat at home. And Arizona is missing a big piece in Koa Pete. Again, he's out for at least for this week. So that is a huge loss for the Wildcats. Going into an environment as Houston, tough environment to play. Coming off of a loss, Samson's going to have these boys motivated. So give me Houston to come out of this matchup. And we move on to the battle of the battle line rivalry. So because Arkansas is in it, I almost said the battle of the boot because that's Arkansas LSU. But Mizzou at the 20th ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. This is the battle line rivalry. 4 o'clock on ESPN. Now, Arkansas comes into this as 10.5-point favorites. Mizzou coming in this one beating Vandy at home, but now they're on the road to take on the Arkansas team who lost in double overtime to Alabama. Like I said, man, look, on Wednesday, LeBaron Philon and Darius Acuff was going band for band. Philon finished with 35. Acuff finished with 49. Arkansas just had 3 players, I think, foul out. I know Billy Richmond fouled out. I think Nick Pringle fouled out. And I don't think Malik fouled out. Somebody else fouled out. I can't remember who, though. And maybe I'm wrong, but I could have swore 3 people fouled out. But anyway, moving forward, Mizzou, they are led by Mark Mitchell, averaging 16.9 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. Jaden Stone, averaging 15.1 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, and 1 steal per game. And Jacob Cruz, averaging 9.8 points per game and 4.3 rebounds per game. Now, their X factor to me is T.O. Barrett. T.O. Barrett has averaged 14.6 points per game since January 24th. He is scoring the lights out of the ball for Mizzou. So he's going to be an X factor against a team in Arkansas who, as y'all seen Tuesday, can score with the best teams in the country. They put up even Saturday against Auburn, they put up 88, I think, against Auburn. So they put up a ton of points. Now, Arkansas, they're led by Darius Acuff, averaging 22.3 points per game, 6.2 assists. Malik Thomas, averaging 15.3 points per game, 3.8 rebounds, and 1.5 steals. I think Malik Thomas might have fouled out too. That might have been Malik Thomas, Billy Richmond, and Nick Pringle all fouled out. That's what it was. And Trayvon Brazile averaging 12.7 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, 1.6 steals, and 1.7 blocks per game. Now, again, the X factor to me is going to be Billy Richmond. DJ Wagner, he had 8, but he had 8 in like 30-something minutes. And I can't lie, I am kind of disappointed in DJ Wagner. I can't lie, but they don't really get. They're not. Arkansas is not really a team of depth. They're really not. They get most of their production from their starters, bench here and there, but mainly their production comes from their starters. So Billy Richmond, again, with his scoring ability, is going to be big in this matchup, averaging 10 points per game. But I went with the Razorbacks, man, at home, rivalry game, coming off a big loss. You want some get back. You want to feel right. Cal wants his team to bounce back. I'm taking Arkansas against a Mizzou team who's been playing really well. I can't lie. Mizzou's been playing really well. They got some good wins under their belt. They got the Vanderbilt win, at the Texas A&M win, which I can't lie. The Texas A&M win day by day does look a little weaker, but I say weaker. But I mean, at the time, they were a top team in the SEC at the time of the win, so can't really much knock them for that. But I want to say Mizzou also they do have the Florida win. They do have a Florida win earlier in SEC play, which that's a great win for Mizzou. But I want to say that Florida win was at home and not on the road, like taking on Arkansas. So I am going to take the Razorbacks to win this ball game. And I just want to look up one more win for Mizzou, or possible win, because I can't remember. I want to say they did beat Auburn though. Also, Mizzou is top 5 in the SEC, which is really good. Shout out Coach Dennis Gates for that. Now, Mizzou did, of course, they beat South Carolina. I still can't believe that line. They did beat Auburn. Yep, at home. That is a win, and they beat Kentucky on the road. Where is this Florida one? I do. Yep, Mizzou, Florida was on at home. So, but still, give me Arkansas. Next, it's the Big East game, man. Top 5 at 5. UConn taking on Villanova on the road in Philly. UConn is 2.5-point favorites. Now, last time they played in UConn, this game went into overtime where UConn came out on top. This time again, like I said, it's on the road. This game is 5:30 on TNT. Now, Villanova is coming off a win against they coming off a win against Xavier. UConn, they're coming off a loss against Creighton, which is kind of dangerous because UConn lost at home against Creighton. I know Dan Early was not happy about that. But UConn, they're led by Solo Ball, averaging 14.4 points per game and 3.5 rebounds. Alex Caravan averaging 13 points per game and 5.3 rebounds. Terrence Reed averaging 13.7 points per game, 7.7 rebounds per game, 1 steal and 2 blocks. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Silas Demery, the guard transfer from Georgia, and his ability to facilitate the ball and just play the point guard position, get him in the right spots and things like that. Because he's going against a tough Villanova defense. The defense is really good. Now, you might not think so after the Xavier game, but I mean, Trey Carroll is the lead scorer in the Big Ten. I mean, that's the Big Ten in the Big East, so he's going to put up points. But this is a really good defense, and I think Silas Demery point guard ability, averaging 6.5 assists per game, is going to be tough and necessary for this UConn team. They're going against, like I said, Villanova, who's led by Caden Lewis, averaging 12.7 points per game, 5.3 assists, and 2.1 steals. He's having a phenomenal freshman year. Shout out to him. He's from the DMV area, and, man, he's making the DMV proud. He's balling. Duke Brennan, 12.3 points per game, 10.7 rebounds, and Tyler Perkins, 13.7 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, and 1.2 steals. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Bryce Lindsey. He's going to have to make open shots. He's going to have to knock down big shots. They're going to need his shot-making ability tonight or later today against a tough UConn team. He is shooting the 3 ball at 35.8%, and he's averaging 12.3 points per game. But they need the good Bryce Lindsey to show up at it if they want to upset this UConn team. Ultimately, though, I'm going with the upset. I'm taking Villanova. Man. UConn, they're a really good team. Don't get me wrong. They're a top team, women playing well. But Villanova is a really good team in their own right as well. And I think Villanova defensively can cause UConn some problems. I do think UConn can get at them with their size. But Duke Brennan's not a bad big now. I need Duke Brennan to bring it. I need him to finish around the rim. Don't get me wrong. He's going to have his hands tied with Terrence Reed for sure. But I think Villanova can knock down some shots, play some good defense, and find themselves in this ball game late in the game at home with the home crowd behind them. And I can find a way to win. I can see them finding a way to win this game. So give me Villanova to upset UConn at home And to stay within this Big East race, which is between three teams, St. John's, who I believe is leading it, UConn, who could very well take over it with the win here, and I think they play St. John next week, and Villanova, who could be in the mix with the win here. But I'm taking Villanova to win this game. And we move on to a rarity, a non-con game in February, which I'm not mad at this. Excuse me, another top 5 matchup. Number 1 overall, Michigan, taking on number 3 overall, Duke, today at 6:30 on ESPN in DC. Michigan comes into this one as 2.5-point neutral site favorites. Now, technically, they're the road team. And I mean, technically, if we're talking neutral site, Duke should be. I would say Duke is closer than Ann Arbor. I don't remember where Duke, Cameron Hall. I don't know exactly where Duke is, but North Carolina, at least in my travels, isn't that far away. And Ann Arbor is probably about 9.5 to 10 hours away. I'd say probably 9.5 hours. So I would say Duke is relatively closer. But this should be a really good ball game, man. It should. And Michigan is led by Yaxel Lundenberg, averaging 14.4 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 1.2 steals, and 1.5 blocks. Elliot Cadeau averaging 10.1 points per game, 5.5 assists. Ade Mara averaging 11.2 points per game, 7.1 rebounds, and 2.7 blocks. And their X factor to me is going to be Trey McKinney, the freshman from Flint, Michigan, averaging 10 points per game off the bench. He's going to have to give them some bench production to help beat the Blue Devils. Now, Duke, they're led by Cam Boozer, 22.8 points per game, 10 rebounds, 3.9 assists, and 1.7 steals. Isaiah Evans averaging 14.7 points per game, and Caleb Foster averaging 8.5 points per game, 3.7 rebounds. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Patrick Nwamba. And first of all, he got to stay out of foul trouble. Got to stay out of foul trouble because Michigan has those bigs. And secondly, his defensive ability with said bigs is going to be huge. Really, all 3 of the bigs, Malik Brown, Cam Boozer, but Cam Boozer is obviously, if he's not playing well, Duke's not playing well, and Patrick Nwamba. So Patrick Nwamba is my X factor there, staying out of foul trouble, playing defense, dealing with Michigan size. But I'm ultimately thinking I'm going Michigan here, man. Michigan's been playing like one of the best teams in the country. Michigan's been playing like a team that could win a national championship. Duke has been playing well as well. Do not get me wrong. And even in the loss against UNC, they led the entirety of the game until that 3-point shot. But I think Michigan's size poses as a disadvantage for Duke. I think Michigan's size is going to really hinder Duke. Cam Boozer, he's a really good player, has skill, has a motor. I'm interested to see how well he plays against Mara and Maurice Johnson. But I think Michigan size ultimately gives them the win against Michigan. And I can't lie, we played Duke as a Michigan State fan, and them going to a zone really changed the game late. It prevented us from scoring. Just got to keep it real. We went against the zone late in the game, and we acted like we couldn't play basketball. That's not going to work, in my opinion, against Michigan with that size. So give me Michigan to win this ball game. And we move on to a Big Ten matchup. We got 10th ranked Illinois taking on UCLA on the road in California tonight at 8 o'clock on Fox. Now, normally, I would say that this might be a huge disadvantage for the team traveling. But in this case, Illinois, it's like playing a 5 o'clock game or maybe even 4 o'clock game your time, because you got to think, I would assume Champaign still falls under the Central Time frame, because Chicago, when I went to Chicago, they were Central Time. That's still in the same state of Illinois. But I could be wrong. I've never been to Champaign. I don't know how close Champaign is to Chicago, but I would assume they're still Central Time instead of Eastern Time. So it's like a 4 o'clock game, again, my assumption, for Illinois, instead of normally when you play UCLA, it'll be like a 11 o'clock, which is like an 8 o'clock. So, but anyway, I digress. Illinois led by Keaton Wagler, averaging 18.1 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, and 4.3 assists. Kylan Boswell made his return. He's averaging 13.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists. And David Markovich, averaging 13.1 points per game, 7.8 rebounds per game. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Andrei Stojakovic. Scoring off the bench, man. He came off the bench the last game. I want to say he led them in scoring, even though he came off the bench last game against USC. He's averaging 14 points per game this season. He's going to be huge in the production on the bench. Now, UCLA, they're led by Donovan Dent, who's averaging 13.2 points per game, 6.9 assists, and 1.7 steals. Tyler Bilodeau averaging 18.1 points per game, 5.6 rebounds, and Sky Clark averaging 13.1 points per game and 1.3 steals. Now, their X factor to me is going to be Xavier Booker. Why? Because Illinois is, this is what I saw when they played us, the biggest team in the country from what I saw, and in terms of height. So he's gonna be huge. He has to, he's gonna have to hold his own in this Illinois. But I'm rolling with Illinois. Size advantage. They got guys that can burn you, and Keaton Wagler, Kyler Boswell, the facilitators back, and Stojakovic who can burn you, and Murkovic who can burn you, and you got Davis who does the dirty work, and you got the Tomislav. Not Tomislav. Why am I blanking on their last names? One play, Ivicic. Is their last name Ivicic? You got the brothers, the foreign brothers who can also shoot the three. They're 7-footers. One played on Illinois last year. One was with Cal in Arkansas last year. It's just a ton for UCLA to deal with. And I think UCLA at times can get very stagnant, which will be very bad against this Illinois team. So give me Illinois to win this ball game. And the last game I got for y'all, and y'all might be tired of me talking about BYU, because low-key, I'm kind of tired of talking about BYU. But BYU had a stretch of the schedule where every game was a huge game. So I got to talk about it. Not only because of BYU, just because of how big the game is in the Big 12. So we have 6th ranked Iowa State taking on 23rd ranked BYU. Now, BYU actually might become unranked after this. But they are without Richie Saunders. As we all know, he's out for the season. Let me not say that. If you do know that, but if you don't know, it's out for the rest of the season. Iowa State's coming off the big win, like I said, against Houston. They are led by Tamin Lipsey, the point guard, averaging 13 points per game, 4.3 rebounds, and 5.3 assists, 2.2 steals. Joshua Jefferson, averaging 16.5 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 5.2 assists, and 1.4 steals. And Milan Masilic, I always struggle. I just say Milosevic. I don't think that's how you pronounce his name, but I always struggle to pronounce his name. He's averaging 18 points per game. Their X factor to me is Killian Toure, the freshman, and his defense. His defense is he's been a terror since the start of the season. He's averaging 1.7 steals per game, but he's a really good on-ball defender, and I think he will be defending Rob Wright, trying to disrupt their offense, who's already lacking one of their biggest scorers in Richie Saunders. Speaking of BYU players, they are led by AJ DeBanza, the phenomenal freshman who is a top 2 draft pick. Some say 1, some say 2. I say depends on who's picking. He's averaging 24.8 points per game, 6.6 rebounds, 3.8 assists, and 1.2 steals. Rob Wright averaging 18.5 points per game, 3.7 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and 1.2 steals. And Kiba Keita averaging 6.3 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, 1 steal, and 1.9 blocks per game. Their X factor is going to be Kennard Davis again. BYU is another team who gets most of their production from their starters. So Kennard Davis is yet again going to have to try to step up to fill the shoes of Richie Saunders in both scoring and 3-point shooting. He's averaging 7.3 points per game. But ultimately, I'm going Iowa State, man. Iowa State is a good – now, do not get me wrong. Iowa State's losses have all come on the road. They lost to TC on the road. They lost to Cincinnati on the road. They lost to Kansas on the road. They have the ability to lose this game. But again, with no Richie Saunders, it is tough for this BYU team, for me to see this BYU team beat this Iowa State team. Iowa State would have to go absolutely cold from the field, which can happen. It happened in TCU. They led late and went absolutely cold, and David Punch and Jaden Pierre hit some big buckets late to win that game. But I'm going with the point guard and Tamin Lipsey, who just finds ways to make big plays late. Nate Heisey hit a big 3 late. Bateman hit a big 3 late. I'm going with Iowa State, the more tested team, to win this ball game. And that's all the games I got for y'all today. Those are the 8 games I got for y'all. We do have conference tournament coming around the corner, so my picks for those will be soon. They'll be like the week of whatever conference tournament start that week. So that's coming soon. Check the shorts out, man. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to the shorts. For the shorts as well as the lives previewing games. This week in college basketball is tomorrow, so make sure y'all tune into that tomorrow. But I appreciate anybody that tuned in, commented, stopped by. You know what I'm saying? Please like, comment, share, subscribe. It helps the channel. It helps the network. Speaking of, this is a network, so we do have multiple shows. We have the main show featuring Joe Tomo and Dave. They normally go live Mondays and Thursdays, about 7 to about 8:30ish. So make sure you tune into that. We have Unfazed, who did not go live this week. I don't think they're going live this week, but just check them out, man. They go live. They're going to switch over to the NBA season. NBA season after All-Star break, so this is where it normally picks up. So make sure you tune into them. That's featuring Joe and AJ. We have BWT, Baseball with Teddy. Spring training starts today. My Tigers actually plays his Yankees in spring training. I left a little joking message in the chat. I don't really care about spring training. I do want to watch Kevin McGonigal, though. I do want to see how he does. So that might be something interesting to watch for me. But make sure you tune in to Teddy for World Baseball Classic news, things like that. And then, obviously once the season starts, we have FFC, Fantasy Football with Coach Coombs. Football season's obviously over. Just stay tuned for whatever content he has in store for you. We have we have Dave's Doghouse, highlights and lowlights of sport. We have Real Ballers Only, RBO featuring Vaughn, who had an episode last night. So make sure y'all check that out. Shout out my boy Cade and the Pistons. We swept the Knicks, beat the Knicks by 15. Now, real quick, Pistons fan here. Knicks fans are crying, oh, the Pistons won the Super Bowl, blah, blah, blah. No, we're not. It's honestly the media making that narrative, which I don't like, because not for nothing, the Pistons last year beat the Knicks in the regular season 3-1. Now, we lost the playoffs 4-2, and in those playoffs, we were up a ton most games. But they're making this narrative like, oh, the Pistons are pissed because they blew that playoff series to the Knicks, and that's why they're doing no. In the regular season, we won 3-1 last year too. Like, are we mad that we blew that series? Yes, but that's not the reason why we won this series in the regular season this year. So anyway, just had to get that off my chest, especially for Knicks fans. I don't know why they talk the way they talk. Y'all haven't won nothing in like recent years. Like since most of these people talking trash has been alive, you haven't seen the Knicks win anything. But I digress. This is a college show. So make sure y'all tune in to RBO for that. We have In the Very Corner featuring Ty, Ricky, and Tomo boxing episodes. Make sure y'all check them out. They go live on Sundays, not every Sunday, but when they do go live, it is on Sundays, about 6:30, between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. All your boxing needs there. And last, we have Zero Sports Talk with Griffey, which again, new sports show. So I don't know schedules and things like that, but just check him out, man. Whenever he drops. And that's all the shows I have for the network. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to them as well. And if you like what you listen to, stick with us. Now, game's starting about an hour, 15 minutes. So hopefully you can enjoy this college basketball slate. I think this is one of the last 3 Saturdays we have left until conference tournaments like officially are all kicked off. So enjoy, man. And I'll be back tomorrow with This Week in College Basketball. But until then, I'm gone. Peace.
Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.